Forward head posture. We've been discussing this issue in some of my last videos already. This time, once again, it's another stepping stone on how to actually fix the problem of forward head posture and its accompanying body physiological and body structural issues. My name is Egwin and I welcome you to this week's video. Whenever you want to jump to a specific point in the video, there is a list with time codes in the description below, and other than that, let's just get started right away. Forward head posture, as almost all structural imbalances that you can find in the human physical body, is a connected issue, meaning that there is hardly any structural imbalance that stands on its own. Sometimes a structural imbalance can be the root cause for other imbalances, and sometimes other issues actually create one centerpiece of structural imbalance. The same goes for forward head posture. Forward head posture can be the original problem, but more often it is actually a follow-up issue. It is actually an issue that comes from other structural imbalances and a misuse of the human body. What I want to discuss today are two main different body types or structural imbalances that span throughout the whole body, that can lead to forward head posture, and that need to be fixed in order to sustainably correct the problem of forward head posture. As there are many videos out there that simply say if you have forward head posture, the easiest and most sustainable fix is to simply train your neck muscles in order to pull the head back. This is really wrong. So most problems with forward head posture cannot be sustainably fixed by pulling the head back into its upright position, because that doesn't take in account all the other structural issues that actually led to this posture. And just simply weak muscles in the neck would not lead to forward head posture if the rest of the structure is completely balanced. So whenever we talk about a structural issue, especially such high in the biomechanical chain in the body than the head or neck position, then we definitely have to look at the whole body at once and not just pick this area and try to fix it using tension. Using tension to fix a localized biomechanical or biointegral phenomenon is rarely a good idea. So, look at me. If I stand here with a really nice and upright body position, my neck now is completely relaxed, my throat is completely relaxed. I literally do not need any excessive amount of tension in order to hold my head up, because it's the muscles all around my body, in front, in the rear, also up and down, left and right, so all the spiral lines and so on, that actually stabilizes my structure. It's not just simply the head is in front, you need to pull on the muscles in the rear. Whenever you find someone or you find yourself with a rather straight and upright, healthy body position, but still you have the issue of this forward head posture, the problem is actually somewhere else. The problem is not too little tension in your neck area. The problem is too much of tension in your cervical area, in your throat area, and in your chest area, and the main problem might even be a psychological one. It's about this literally putting your nose into something by disconnecting yourself, from your physical body and from the rest of your being. It's this crawling into screens or into work that literally makes you try to shift your mental focus into work, but keep the body out of it. Obviously, that's not something that's conscious in nature. Most of the time, that's something that's completely unconscious. But still, if that happens, make yourself conscious about it. Think about, what is it where I want to get my intention, my focus to, that leads my head, that leads my thoughts, my mental focus into one unilateral direction with leaving my body behind. So that's stage number one. Stage number two is localizing the tension in the body and starting to get yourself to rid yourself of this tension. So whenever the rest of your body seems to have a proper structure, I stress the seems to have in this sentence, and the head looks like that. Obviously there is a lot of tension somewhere here in the cervical area, in the anterior cervical area, but there is also a lot of compression in other areas of your chest area, even in your lumbar area, and finally also in your foot region. So the first and most important thing, if you suffer from something like that, is try to work on your body awareness rather than training the muscles back here. Because as soon as you are able to distinguish which muscles are actually too tight, and most of the time those are muscles that are rather on the inside, not just on the outside. Sometimes it's also myofascial chains that are connected throughout the whole body that actually pull or are being pulled on by such an issue. And then in the second stage, it's about, as soon as you know which muscles are too dense, then it's about releasing those muscles. There are different types of myofascial release that you can use for them. You can use deep tissue massage, you can use tennis balls, you can use a fascia roll in some areas of the body that can help. I'm going to show you specific techniques for myofascial release within the next couple of weeks. And there is also this directed release ability that each and every one of us has. But most people actually lost this ability due to their not using unusage of the body, let's call it that. So whenever you regain your awareness of muscles and you're able to sort of see different muscle groups as they are and not, yeah, my whole body hurts or something like that. So you're able to distinguish between different muscle groups consciously, then you'll also regain the ability to actually release them. How good this muscular release works depends on how massively the structure system, the passive, so-called passive structures, I'm talking about the fascia system, how massively that is already distorted. Depending on that, you'll find possibilities to release those tensional patterns in the body in order to come out of this position and get back into a natural upright position. More often, a forward head posture is also accompanied by a very strong kyphosis or an anterior pelvic tilt and a very strong lordosis in your lower back area. So some body shape that looks like that or like that with a sort of collapsed thoracic spine to the front. And again, the question is, you'll always have to distinguish first, is this body structure created by a hypertension or due to collapsed structures on the other side? Most of the time it's both, but most of the time the hypertension is in another area, or the hypertension has to be released before you actually work on restructuring the part that seems to have too little tension. Because muscles that are too weak, this is a really rare thing in the human body, that there are actually muscles that are too weak. Whenever the body structure is healthy aligned body structure does not have weak or too strong or too weak muscles. They are all working more or less at the same pace in order to uphold and to if I say uphold, I don't mean lift the body up, I simply mean uphold the structure. And there is much more to it. It's not just simply the muscles that have to hold us. It's the muscles, it's the connective tissue, it's our breathing pattern, it's our emotional state, it's our cellular pulsation. So there is a lot more to it. Still, when you have a very strong kyphosis as the second example, very strong kyphosis that is accompanied by forward head posture, so by this sunk head to the front that you then pull back in order to meet other people, to meet life, to look in a computer, whatever. This posture can actually be fixed by, first of all, restructuring the thoracic spine. So you'll definitely want to work on releasing tight muscles in your back area to release myofascial areas in your back, and you want to restructure your legs, your hips, pelvis, and your lumbar spine. Because whenever you're in such a position and you restructure your lumbar spine and your pelvis back into a neutral position, the thoracic spine will almost on its own restructure itself back into a neutral position. If it still doesn't, then there is already a very strong permanent tension in somewhere in your chest or thoracic spinal area. This tension then has to be released with myofascial techniques, again, either with a fascial roll, with deep tissue massage, with certain coordinative movements, and so on. One aspect out of all the videos I've done already, there are a couple of exercises that you can use in order to work on improving your posture. One of them is the video that where I showed how to coordinate anterior and posterior and lateral and medial side in your thorax to mobilize the chest and to mobilize the thoracic spine. I put the link to this video in the description below. If you use it to start and coordinate and mobilize the muscles in your thoracic and your chest area, this will already help you to rid yourself of massive kyphosis or problems with hypertension or seemingly too little tension and collapsed states in your thoracic and lumbar region. There's also a video describing the same principles for the lumbar spine. They all work in harmony with each other in order to recreate a healthy foundation where the head can actually shift back into the state it should stay in. And there is one more video. It's actually the last video I posted. It's about this recovering and resting position that can be used simply to, as the name says, to recover and to rest, or it can be used as a working situation where you actually regain awareness for your body, where you realign your spine with the proper biomechanical measures in order how much you have to put under your head and stuff like that. So watch this video. That's a little bit a longer video, still it's worth watching it, and it will help you to regain, again, structural balance for once, and two, it will help you to increase your body awareness, to start to be able to distinguish between different muscle groups, muscle areas, which then allows you to consciously activate or deactivate muscles, or tense or relax muscles more or less as you need it. And the other aspect is try to make sure that whenever you can, you center yourself back into yourself structurally. So whenever you do structural work, always have in mind it's never only about the structure. The structure is a mirror of our energy, our emotions, and our mental aspects, our thought patterns, and the way we are used to interact with life and with situations all around us. So literally, the body position is a fingerprint, a psycho-physiological and emotional energetic fingerprint of your own being. So whenever you do structural work, no matter if it's with a myofascial release tool, if it's this exercise for coordinating the muscles, if it's the resting position, always sort of keep in mind or set the foundational intention that this exercise that you're doing at this given moment is also there to actually recenter yourself so that you can reinhabit your physical body also psychologically and energetically. Because this resynchronizes you and takes you out of this permanent putting your head into things, of this shifting your mental patterns away from your physical patterns and so on. So this will also psychologically help you to regain your center and your balance, which is very important in all structural imbalances that you want to work on. Especially with something like forward head posture, it's literally about letting the body catch up to what the mind is doing, or reintegrating the mind in what the body is doing and then move as a unit. There is a lot more to talk about this, obviously. Still, let's keep it at these two examples for now. Once again, example number one was the body is rather upright or seems rather upright, but still the head moves to the front, creates a lot of tension actually in your thoracic spine, also puts a little bit more pressure in the ball of the foot where it shouldn't be, especially for healthy walking, because that again leads to a lot of pressure in your knee joints and will mess up your whole coordination, stiffen the legs, thus also make you less adaptable to outside influences when you walk, when you say walk down some stairs or walk in nature or something like that. And the other thing is this: try to fix your anterior pelvic tilt, try to fix a strong kyphosis in your chest area by using myofascial release techniques, by using this coordination method that I showed in one of the previous videos, and by using this relaxing restructuring technique. That's it for today. As I said, I will give some more updates on actual exercises in the very near future, especially working with tennis balls, working with the fascia roll and so on. So those are some of the exercises that you can do and you can try out without really doing anything bad for yourself. As always, if there is a structural imbalance, it's a very individual thing as well. My suggestion to you is do not look for the quick fix, which often means just simply try to train this muscle group and everything's going to be okay, because in most cases it isn't. In most cases it will take out pressure momentarily, but on the long run it takes much more effort, much more energy to maintain this muscular erect state, which isn't a natural state at all, because as mentioned before, it's the muscles, it's the connective tissue, it's our blood pressure, the lymphatic system, the cellular pulsation. Everything works together in perfect harmony to keep us in a sort of floating state where all the parts are linked with each other perfectly and work with each other, giving us a lot of space while we move. If you have any questions to this video, make sure to leave them in the comment box below. Anything else, you can write me an email if you want to ask me some specific aspects about your specific case and you don't want all of that being out in public. If you liked the video, make sure to like, share and subscribe, because there's a lot more on my channel that wraps around correcting posture and that wraps around actually living a healthy posture. That's much more like it than just simply correcting. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching and see you around soon.